Hi everybody, I hope that you're well and having a magical Sunday. I've just got back from a walk down the beach, which was absolutely beautiful, and now the clouds have come, so I definitely got the best part of the day. So as promised, today I want to talk to you about what the Mandala Effect is, why I have rebranded the podcast from the Design Your Legacy to the Mandala Effect, and a bit about how the Mandala Effect is part of my greater mission, in the hope that helps you spread your light and work on your greater mission in the world, on this life journey that we are on. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Roseanna. I am your host. I am the host of the Mandala Effect podcast and YouTube channel. I am also a spiritual and self-development coach, help people integrate their whole self, true self, work with their higher self, to live a magical and wonderful life. And I do a variety of other things. I am the founder of Roseanna Croft Jewellery, a fine jewellery brand, and lots of other incredible, wonderful things. I am also a meditation teacher, which ties in with the Mandala Effect, and again, part of my greater mission. And it's lovely, it's wonderful, I love my life. So yes, the Mandala Effect. Mandalas are something that have been, well, they're everywhere, right? They've been around for thousands and thousands of years. In Hinduism and Buddhism, they are used for meditation, which is another way in which I use them as well. Carl Jung, the psychotherapist, used them in meditation to help. He would draw one every day to help know the state of his psyche, know his inner mentality was like on any given day, and it helped him ultimately towards his own individuation. So really, really interesting. But mandalas, like I say, have kind of been in and around my life. I love them, they're so beautiful, and that's probably how I first kind of fell in love with them. I would design pieces of jewellery based on the mandala without ever really knowing much about it. The Morganite Mandala I designed years and years and years ago I designed and made it. It was the first piece of custom jewellery that I designed and made, which was exactly what I wanted. It was one of a kind, and it sold almost straight away, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. So you know that when you know you're in alignment, things like that happen. And it was the most expensive piece of jewellery that I had made to sell at that point, and it was, so that was a sign, but I ignored it. I went to Bali this year to heal, to learn, to grow, to explore, to have fun, all of which I did all of. And I was meditating one day, and the word mandala kept coming into my mind. And obviously there are mandalas everywhere in Bali, like they're everywhere. They're so integrated in spirituality now, and they're beautiful, so they are everywhere. And it just kept popping into my mind. I was like, oh, I'm trying to meditate, stop. Anyway, it didn't. Later on, I sort of realised why it was popping into my mind, because I'm meant to work with mandalas. It's part of my journey now and what I am here to do. So I'm still not quite clear on the path, but that's part of life, isn't it? We're never really clear on the path. We just have to keep going. So this mandala, and then I was seeing them everywhere, like really everywhere. I'd booked onto a workshop before this had happened. I'd booked onto a workshop, and it was about learning to live in the tiny space in your heart, in the center of your heart, which is then the center of your universe. The tiny space, so like the one tiny dot in the middle of your very, very heart is the middle of your entire universe. And I had no idea that this was based on a mandala, and that mandala actually being what I'm wearing at the moment, which is the flower of life. And so the flower of life represents the blueprint makeup of every cell in your body, cells in plants, cells in kind of everywhere. I'll get more into that probably as we develop on this. I'll go into more about what some of these mandalas mean, because we've got a few things going on here. But the mandala, so the flower of life, and I was like gobsmacked. I was like, I cannot believe this has just happened. I've just had this meditation, this realization that I should be working in some way with mandalas, be that designing jewelry. Well, at that point, it was like, okay, this is my collection. I'm designing mandala jewelry, and so I had this, and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to listen to this, and so I have listened to it. And since then, I have designed a jewelry collection based on mandalas. It's not released yet. This is the first piece that has been made. And I am not selling them at present, but I will be. If you are interested, you can please get in touch, and I'm sure I can sort you out, but they will be available to purchase soon. Because I'm just refining some last details, but this was ready and I can't take it off. I feel so much power in my heart. If you're listening on the podcast and not watching the YouTube video, you'll be able to see a picture of it probably on my Instagram, or go and watch the YouTube video. But I just feel so much power because it sits, I guess I'm going to get a longer chain so it actually sits on my heart space, but I can feel so much power in it. Anyway, besides the point, mandalas, I designed a collection, and then I was like, and then started, so I'd already at this point qualified, done my coaching qualifications. I was sort of thinking where I go with my life, what I do, and long story short, I am integrating the mandala, the work of the mandala, working with the mandala, into my meditations, into my coaching practice, and into how I help heal people. Because I believe there is so much power in the mandala. It has so many links, and a mandala can be anything, right? So a mandala is not just a pretty design. A mandala is literally a mandala means circle in Sanskrit, and so when you think about that, you have the center of a circle. So the middle point in the center of a circle is the center of the mandala. And so then the mandala grows out from that. So anything is a mandala. A flower is a mandala. The pretty designs are mandalas. Your cells are mandalas. Your energetic system is a mandala. Mandalas are found in stars, the sun, the sky, the earth. The planet that we live on is a form of mandala. The core of the earth being the center of the mandala. And so it grows out from this. And I believe the power is in that center of the mandala. And so our energetic mandala, us as this spiritual being in a physical body, is at the very center of our heart, our energetic heart. So a mandala can be anything. It's anything with a center that kind of, you have a circle of friends. That is a mandala. It can be anything with circle with a center point. And so learning about this and thinking about this, they're so magical. I've written a book on mandalas already, which again, in fact, it will be available on my website soon, but I'll keep you updated on that. I've written a book on mandalas. It's a very, very small book, but it's interesting, and the power of them. They have just really become a huge part of my life, and And I know that there is so much, there's a reason that they were so powerful thousands of years ago at the beginnings of Buddhism. And I think in our modern society, we have lost touch with a lot of, I guess, what the ancients really believed help us. And we've progressed as humans, as a human race. We've progressed. We are, our technology is incredible. Our, what we can do in medicine is amazing. What we, the cars we drive, the houses we live in, we're so advanced now. But I believe we have almost forgotten where we've come from and what, and I don't think that everybody in society kind of lives by true values, and I think this is where spirituality really comes into its own. And we see more and more spiritual people every day, which is amazing. Like the consciousness of the world is what's the word? Elevating at a really high speed. And so more and more people are having these spiritual awakenings and coming back to who we truly are in our souls. And I believe the mandala can help us get there. So the Mandala Effect. What is the Mandala Effect? The Mandala Effect is this elevation of society, elevation of consciousness, elevation of getting to know who we truly are, elevation of magic, and it all starts with us. So Design Your Legacy was, the idea behind the Design Your Legacy podcast was we all leave a legacy, whether we realize it or not, and that legacy can have a positive impact on the world or it can have a negative impact on the world. So which one do you want to live? And the people that I would speak to, it was so obvious to me that the good that we were doing was having a ripple effect on our world, our surroundings, the circle around us. And that ripple effect is effectively the Mandala Effect. So you being at the center point of your mandala, every time that you work on yourself, every time that you improve your life, every time that you make yourself a little bit happier, every time you make yourself a little bit healthier, every time you work towards following your dreams, you as a soul, you have an effect on everything and everybody around you. And that is the Mandala Effect. Every time you help yourself, you help somebody else. And that to me is so magical and so powerful. And ultimately, that's how the consciousness of the world is elevating. That's because David Hawkins said that, we all calibrate at a different frequency. And I think something, at the time of him writing, which book was it? Power versus Force. I think he said that it was 85% of people were calibrating lower than 300 or maybe 200. But that 15% who were calibrating higher than that was enough to keep the energy of the world, the frequency of the world, in a positive space. So that 15% positive outweighed the 85% negative. So every time we raise our frequency, we raise our energy, we raise our vibration, we raise our consciousness, every time we step into who we truly are, and step towards love rather than fear, we are helping the rest of the world do that. We are uplifting humanity, and that's a lot of pressure to put on one person. So I'm not, and this is why the Mandala Effect is so beautiful, because it's not putting pressure on you to fix the world. It's not putting pressure on you to go and save the planet. It's putting a little bit of pressure on you to improve your life, to work on yourself, to heal yourself, to love yourself, to bring about magic in your own life. And as a result, you will bring about magic in the rest of the world. And you know, it's just so beautiful. It's so perfect. And I'm so excited to bring it into the world. And I'm thrilled that I am able to play with this, to do this, to design this, to work with these beautiful things that I just think bring so much magic. So I guess that's what the Mandala Effect is. Every time you help yourself, you help the world. And I think it's Ra says in Law of One, help one, help them all. Help one soul, help all souls, something like that. Which is cool because it all means the same, no matter what you listen to, no matter what you believe. But even kind of bring it back to 3D, bring it back to every day, and what we see every day. I know that if I do something good for myself, I can inspire somebody else to do good for them. I know some of the work that I have done has directly impacted some people in my circle. Whether they're aware of it or not, I can see it, and not trying to be arrogant by saying that, but I can. And even the work that I do, like with coaching and even the jewellery that I've made, I know that the jewellery I make makes people happy. And I know the coaching that I do changes people's lives. So that in itself, that's me working on myself to get to a point where I am able to help other people. And that's from working on myself. That's not from working on anybody else. That's not, you know, and it is such a powerful thing. And when we speak about being powerful beyond measure, which you will hear me say a lot, because we do not realize, and I have realized more in this last year than I have, like, oh my goodness, I've realized how powerful I am this last year. I've realized how powerful I am this last 3 weeks. Forget the stuff that I went through last year. This last 3 weeks have really shown me some magical stuff. But we are powerful beyond measure because the work that we do has this Mandala effect, has this ripple effect throughout the world. And that is incredible and amazing. So over the next few weeks, I would like to speak about my version of spirituality, what I think spirituality is, and how I guess how I see it in the world and how it plays out in my life, because I think spirituality has different meanings for different people. Spirituality can seem quite lofty to some people when I think it's so much more than it can be painted as. You know, manifestation is a massive buzzword at the moment, or it has been for the last probably, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. But especially I see it a lot on Instagram, and it's about so much more than manifestation. So I'd like to speak about what is spirituality, what is manifestation. So keep your eyes peeled for those videos and those episodes. I also would like to do another questions from or for the heart episode. So if you have any questions that you would like me to answer on the podcast, please email me hello@roseannacroft.com. It's all in the links below. Or DM me on Instagram, or if you have my WhatsApp, just drop me a message, and I'd love to be able to answer your question on the podcast. So it can be a challenge that you're facing, it can be a query that you have. I will answer it, and I generally answer maybe 3 or 4 questions an episode. So when I have some questions, I will record that episode for you. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there and go about the rest of my day, and I hope that you have an incredible day. We've got lots and lots of magic coming up. Thank you so much for listening. There was something else I wanted to cover, but I can't quite remember. But hey, we have all the time in the world, and time isn't linear anyway, so yeah, so amazing. So keep your eye out for all of these incredible things that are coming, and have a wonderful and beautiful day. If you're interested in working with me in any capacity, again, links below, and I'd love to hear from you.